Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be tolerant of the environment, and only then will nature be tolerant towards us. We have always heard that Mother Nature needs our protection, but in this year, 2020, and the natural calamities that have followed, and also the COVID-19 global pandemic, we have seen that Mother Nature does not need our support. She can heal herself well. It is we who need Mother Nature to survive on our planet Earth. That brings me to my topic of today: sanitize your world. I don't mean sanitizing just your home, your surroundings, or yourself. We need to cleanse our minds and change our attitude towards our lifestyle and try to live an eco life. I'll just narrate a small incident what changed my life. Earlier, when I used to do trails or nature treks or safaris in Indian wildlife, and I used to have guests along with me, friends, guests, people, I used to always be proud that I'm giving bottled mineral water to all my guests. But in 2015, when I went to Costa Rica, the tour guide there told me that they do not provide mineral water bottles to our guests, and we have to carry our own bottle and get it refilled at one of their kiosks or the 20-liter bubble bags. That pricked my conscience. And I thought that we as wildlife photographers who travel extensively across India, across the globe, are leaving behind a very heavy carbon footprint. And that needs to change. So when I came back and started doing tours, I used to let people get their own water bottles and provide them with a 20-liter bubble bag. So people started refilling their jars and reusing their bottles. I think this might have changed at least about 100 or 200 or 500 people and their attitude towards plastic bottles and waste in general. Today, I'm going to talk as a common man, the kind of changes that I've brought about in my life, which can, in a small way, benefit the environment and also help combat global warming. I'm going to be talking about 3 pointers basically today. The first one being water conservation. We all know that we are living on a planet which is 70% water. But many of us don't know that only about 2% of this water is fresh water, and less than 1% of water is available as potable water for us. The rest are all in under glaciers. It is estimated that by 2025, almost about 1.8 billion people will be living in regions which are having scarcity of water. Almost 2/3 of the population will be living in areas where water will be a difficult commodity, even for your daily needs like drinking, bathing, cleaning. So potable water is going to be a major challenge. What can you or me do to prevent this? In Indian traditions and as per Vastu, we consider water as a form of the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi. So our elders used to tell us that never keep your taps running. Today, it's very, very essential that we bathe or take a shower with minimum amount of water possible. Don't leave the taps running when you're brushing your teeth or shaving. And with the recent COVID-19 pandemic, we have been told to frequently wash our hands and keep them clean for minimum of 20-30 seconds. Do you know that while washing our hands, if we leave the tap water running for those 30 seconds, we are losing almost 8 glasses of water. We needn't go far to African countries, very close to Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan. There are so many places where people are facing scarcity of water and they have to walk miles together to get a small container of drinking water. So we need to be eco-friendly and sensitive to all these people and try to conserve water. Now, as you can see in this image, this is what we have implemented in our home. The old bottles that we have are kept near the kitchen sink, and the rices the pulses, grains, whatever is washed, rinsed, that water we store in these bottles. Coming from a South Indian family, there's a lot of rice consumption in our house. So normally the rice water is drained off after cooking. It's drained off into the sink. But now what we do is we collect that water in these bottles. And the next day, the same water is given to our plants in our garden. Rice is heavy in starch, and this starch is very good as a natural fertilizer for your plants. What you could also do is have a small container with a lid near your kitchen sink, so that not only this rice and pulses that are washed, even vegetables that you wash or normal any other substances, organic matter that you wash, that water can be stored in that container and later on used for your plants. Most of us are having RO filters installed in our houses. Did you know that every time you take fresh, pure drinking water out of these RO filters, almost 40 to 50% of the water is going through the outlet into a drain? What you can do is just change this and try to collect that water in a bucket. And use this water the next day for maybe flushing your toilets or sweeping and sobbing your house. It's going to save a lot of water. The next thing I'm going to talk about, the small change that we all can bring about in a big way to combat air pollution around us, is to have a small garden in your home. Especially we living in Kharghar, we are facing acute air pollution from the industrial area in Taloja. Just last week, I believe the tests have revealed that the air quality index of Kharghar is about 178, which is severely alarming for all of us living here. What can we as common citizens or human beings on earth do? Have a small garden with good air purifying plants in our homes. Some of the plants like Aurelia or the jade plant. Plant any plant which will give out good oxygen to you throughout the day and also absorb all this air pollution, the toxins and formaldehydes that come from your wall paints and other things, and purify the air for you. One more thing that we can do is have a tulsi or basil plant in our house. We Indians revere the tulsi plant since ages, and we normally offer water to tulsi plant early in the mornings. Did you know why? It's because the tulsi plant is one of the few plants that gives out oxygen 24 hours a day. And early in the mornings for about 4 hours, the tulsi plant is giving out ozone, which is fast being depleted from our atmosphere. Having said that, I'm going to talk about something related to your gardening and all. Our kitchen waste, our organic matter that we generally send off in our dustbins, which goes into a landfill and lies there rotting and producing methane gas. Methane gas is very harmful for the atmosphere and also the air around these landfills for the villagers. So what we can do is try and compost our own kitchen waste at home itself. It's very simple. It's just that you need to make a start. If you go onto the net, you will get many websites which show you how to do home composting. There are two basic methods. One is the aerobic method of composting and the anaerobic method of composting. But for all beginners, I would suggest the aerobic method of composting because it's very simple and generally you won't go wrong in aerobic method, because if you go wrong in anaerobic method of composting, it can create a lot of stinking material, which will be a deterrent for you to do composting at home. So, going for aerobic composting, all you need is a clay or terracotta pot. You need some browns like twigs, leaf litter, soil or cardboard. You need your greens which comes from your kitchen, your vegetable peels, all the organic matter that you generally throw into the dustbin. You can put them into the compost bin, a layer of that, and an accelerator like maybe cow dung manure or some jaggery, or the best accelerator is what we have in all our homes is sour buttermilk. Just add a little bit of this and your composting is ready. This that you see in the image is the average kitchen waste that we as a family of 4 generate in our homes. And this we can convert to what we call black gold or manure, which can be used for your plants itself. Now, coming to the final part of my talk is one of the most important things that we use every day in our life: plastics. Almost 350 million tons of plastic is generated across the globe annually, and less than 50% of the plastic is only single-use plastic, which means that it's used once and then thrown away. About 9% of the plastic that we manufacture goes back to recycling. About 12% of it is incinerated, burnt randomly here and there. And about 79% of the plastic that we manufacture goes back into a landfill or the oceans, sadly, and stays there for years together. We all know the perils of plastic that is reaching the oceans, and millions of sea animals and creatures are affected by this. And now I'm going to show you a few changes that we have brought in our life by switching from plastic to other matter, which can go a big, huge way if more and more people start doing this in their lives. The first thing that you see in the image is plastic toothbrushes. These toothbrushes do not decompose, are generally not accepted by recyclers, and they stay in the environment, in the landfills or in the ocean for years together. So what you can do is, a better alternative is use bamboo toothbrushes, and of course with bamboo bristles. They tend to last a little less than the plastic toothbrushes, but they go a big way in saving the environment. What you could also do is carry your own water bottle wherever you go, be it treks or the office, whenever you're going in. Instead of using plastic bottles and increasing the consumption of plastic, what you can do is a simple switch to these reusable water bottles. Most of the time when we go out to restaurants or takeaway dining, we are provided with use and throw cutlery. I think this is also a major hazard that is choking our environment today, because these single-use things either end up in landfills or in the ocean. So what you could do is go in for an alternative like the bamboo cutlery, but again, bamboo also is a natural resource and limited. So the best thing would be to opt for stainless steel cutlery, which is easy to carry, a small fork and a spoon. The second switch that you need to make immediately is stop using plastic straws. These straws are just used once and lie around in the environment for 400 to 500 years without decomposing. So what you can do is either sip your coffee or your drinks direct out of the mug or the jar, or if you are very used to a straw, then go in for a steel straw like the one shown in the image. We all carry our wallets with us wherever we travel, our wallets, our mobile phones. So it's very simple to carry a small kit like the one shown in the image. We find our markets now flooded with plastic containers, plastic bowls. Try to make a switch to eco-friendlier options which will decompose. Like this one that's shown in the image. These containers are made from the bark of the betel nut tree. They are sturdy, just like plastic, no spillage, and they will decompose when you throw them back into the environment. Or even more, you can use aluminum foil containers. Now, one of the worst plastic pollutants in our world is cling wrap. We believe cling wrap keeps our food fresh longer. So if you feel the need to use something like a cling wrap to keep your food fresh, try to switch for this alternative. This is a silicone wrap, which is sturdy, strong, reusable many times, and it provides the same freshness to your food. It's available in various sizes depending on the container that you want to use it for. In India, online, you can shop for these silicone wraps for about less than $2, less than 150 rupees for about 6 wraps. And these will last you for many years together. So please ditch the cling wrap today itself. Another thing that we need to practice is segregating our plastic waste. Today it's very difficult to live without plastics. Your groceries, your pulses, your chips, everything comes in a plastic bag. But these are multi-layered plastics and these can be easily recycled by any recycler. So what you can do is start collecting your plastic. It's just going back to the roots. A couple of years back in India, we used to collect all our plastic and give it to a recycler or what is locally called as a kabadiwala in exchange for garlic or money. So now don't do it for the money, do it for the environment. Collect your plastics, segregate them into Tetra Paks, your multi-layered plastics, and even the smaller plastics like cloth tags, zip wires or pellets, chocolate wrappers, you can collect in what is shown in the image in the form of eco bricks. Keep on collecting these small plastics in this bottle, and at the end of the day, when it's completely full, you can either give it to a recycler or to organizations who are utilizing the eco bricks for various purposes. We cannot live a completely zero waste lifestyle. In today's world, I think it's not very practical, but that doesn't mean that we take zero efforts. So friends, let's pledge to live an eco-friendly life and not harm the environment with our day-to-day activities and deeds. Like someone has rightly said, we haven't inherited the natural resources from our ancestors, but we have borrowed it from our next generation. So let us strive to leave this world a better place for our future generations.